Hi, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be building an absolutely massive apartment building. This took me so long to do, like, oh my gosh, I think it took me about 6 hours to build. I keep doing this, I keep making these just massive builds, and then I'm surprised when it takes me 10,000 years to edit it. But that's why we're starting from all the build being done as well, because it took me so long to get the floor plan right, to get the thing going, to get the stairs in, that I just had to cut it all out. And by the time that I was done, I was like, there's no way I can like realistically put this part of the video in and have it make sense. So that is why we've gone straight into like, yeah, the build is already down and I'm just doing the extra stuff, because it doesn't even look that complicated, because it isn't that complicated really. I just made it more complicated than it needed to be, because that's just what I'm like. But anyway, maybe the next build, it probably is going to be quite a bit smaller than the last two, just because these take me so long to edit, to film, to do everything. Don't get me wrong, I'm having a great time the whole time I'm doing it. Like, I'm absolutely enjoying myself. That's why it takes so long and why I have so much footage, because I'm like, yeah, I'm having a great time like building all this and putting it all together and stuff. Especially because what I try to do with each of these flats, I'm getting ahead of myself. So what I tried to do with this apartment was make it so that it had a lot of like amenities and stuff, and was like really like just a more fancy apartment, you know. So I tried to add a gym, I added a pool area, I added a yoga studio, and you can see at the moment I'm working on a massage area kind of thing. I just really wanted there to be like lots of amenities, and like that's partially what you're paying for, is the amenities of the building. So I really wanted that. Obviously this is built with the pack in mind, but at the time of filming it hasn't come out obviously, so I'll probably have to renovate it at some point to add in whatever necessary objects are used for like making it functional, because I'm pretty sure we at least need like some maintenance objects, like it's like a little boiler thing. So eventually I'll be like, yeah, renovating it to try and fit that in there somewhere. Might end up making a basement for it, not sure right now, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna end up doing. But then above these there's 6 flats in total, so there's 3 flats on the first floor, 2 flats on the second floor, and then a penthouse on the top floor. So there's 2 small ones, like smallish ones, like 1-bedroom ones, and then like a bigger like family one and stuff, and then the 2 upstairs are both quite big, and then the penthouse is obviously like the biggest, absolutely massive. And yeah, so I wanted each floor to have like a different kind of theming to it. So the first floor is like quite basic, still nice, but like a bit more basic, like, you know, because I kind of wanted it to be like each room was decorated with a different type of person or a different type of family in mind. So like the first 2 on the first floor on the left hand side are both like single, so they have only 1 bedroom. They could have been a studio, but I wanted to separate off. I was like, I have enough space to separate off the bedroom, so I might as well separate it off. But yeah, so the first floor is quite simple and is quite like contemporarily decorated and things, and is more for like maybe 1 or 2, is like for 1 or 2 people. And then there's a small family one for like, yeah, like I think it's for 2 kids, a teenager, and like a set of parents. But then the second floor is more industrial themed. It's quite dark. It's a lot more like maybe 2 working professionals would be there, something like that, or like you would share that with someone, because I'm hoping that we can still like kind of sublet like you do with the current roommate system. I think it came with university, but I'm not sure. Could have been city living, but I'm not. Either way, I feel like if you could maybe sublet your room, so it's like, oh yeah, I've got this one room and then yeah, I get a roommate. I'm hoping you can still use the roommate system. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to use it, but just in case you can't. But yeah, hopefully you can, but if you can't, that kind of sucks. But hopefully, yeah, I wanted it to be like the idea that, oh yeah, maybe it's 2 people who are like just renting together kind of thing. So, and then on the penthouse, that's obviously like, you know, it's mad luxurious, that kind of thing, like it is, or like not mad, I don't want to say that, because then if it's like you guys don't think it is, it's gonna be embarrassing. But it's definitely very like a lot more luxurious than the other ones, and the way I tried to achieve that is obviously using more expensive appliances, using more like personalization in it, because the way I wanted it to look is I wanted this build to look like it was all done by the same person or like the same company, like they own the whole building, they own every single flat in the building, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. So I wanted it to be a case of like, oh yeah, everything, they bought all the furniture, they bought all the appliances. So I made it so that all of the bathrooms throughout the entire building are all exactly the same. I literally, like, I pretty much just copied and pasted them mostly. I also cut out most of the bathrooms. I think I'll show you furnishing one, and then I won't show you it again, just because it is literally the same thing over and over again, so you don't need to see it every time. But a lot of these first floor flats ended up changing a lot because the floor plan just wasn't working out the way I wanted it to, because I kept realizing I was leaving stuff out. You'll see in the second flat that I do, I completely forget to add a bathroom. It's so embarrassing. Like, I don't even realize until I'm moving on to the third flat, and I'm like, oh, where am I going to put the bathroom? What did the bathroom in the other flat look like? And then I realized that there's no bathroom there. It's a real problem. I think because obviously I'm building this like at the same time, I can remember doing a bathroom, so I'm like, well, I don't need to do another one, that kind of thing. So I just end up just completely forgetting and having to like panic build it later and like squeeze it in. And maybe it's not the best place for it, like there probably is a better layout for it, but I had already moved on, so I was like, damn, I just have to try and fit it in somewhere. But I did manage to fit it in, so everywhere does have its own bathroom, thankfully. But it was a bit of touch and go then. I was really concerned about where I was going to squeeze this bathroom. But you can see like how I'm changing quite a lot of the layout of this particular flat, just because the sizing just wasn't working out. I really wanted to use that sofa. You'll see me pull that sofa out a few times because I really wanted to use it. It's one of my favorites in the whole game, and I just wanted to use it. So I keep pulling that sofa out, but I keep not getting to use it because it's just not big enough for the flats that we have. But like you can see, all of the appliances are the same. So like the kitchen on the third floor, or no, the kitchen on the first floor, all of those flats have the same kitchen appliances and all that kind of thing. Because like I said, I wanted it to be like, oh yeah, one company bought this, so they just bought, 4 different fridges and that, and then just put them in, blah 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 blah. I also gave all of them the same like interior thing, so they all have a umbrella stand, a shoe rack and coat rack, and a, what's it called? The thermostat. They all have one of those, and it probably makes absolutely no sense. Like, I don't know how that would work if you was playing this as like one full building. I would not recommend that, by the way. Like, I don't have the best computer, but it's all right. Like, it's not like other YouTubers where they have like absolute beasts of a machine. It's just all right. So I didn't have too much trouble loading it and stuff. Like, it wasn't too laggy and things, but I feel like if you was actually playing it and starting to like accumulate stuff, it would get very laggy very quickly. So I definitely wouldn't recommend playing with this as like with every single room decorated. If you don't end up getting the pack, or you don't want to separate it for whatever reason, I would say to delete every room that you're not using. So like if you only want to live in the penthouse, delete every room underneath, because it gets quite laggy after a while. So yeah, I'm being a bit presumptuous by assuming that you would want this, but it is on the gallery if you are interested. It's under Anchor Point Apartments, because that's literally the name of the lot. Like you can see in the corner, it's Anchor Point Abode. This is on that 30 by 20 lot, I think it is. Maybe 40 by 30? 30 by 20 lot, I think. That used to have the rental apartments on it, because I wanted it to blend into the environment pretty well, and I thought that was like the best place to do that, basically. But I think it ends up blending in pretty well, because I wanted it to be modern, and there's not a lot of worlds where the modern aesthetic kind of fits in. It kind of juts out and looks a bit too different, in my opinion, and I want it to be in keeping with the village aesthetic, so to speak. So it wasn't gonna fit in like Willow Creek or Oasis Springs or something like that. I know we're not there yet, but I'm going to talk about it now anyway. The second floor, like I said, is a very industrial vibe. So it has, again, its own kitchen. It uses different appliances to the first floor, but then the third and fourth room. So I'm going to number them. So the first floor is, you've got 1, 2, and 3. The first one is the one closest. The second one is the one at the back. And then the third one is the long one. And then you have 4 and 5, which is the one on the left and the right. And then you have the penthouse. And obviously I'll just call the penthouse the penthouse. But so flats 1, 2, and 3 all have one type of kitchen. Flats 4 and 5 have another type of kitchen, and then the penthouse has its own custom one, because like I said, I wanted it to seem like the penthouse is like the most fancy, so they were allowed to like customize it to be exactly the way they wanted it to be. So I ended up using like the Home Chef Hustle kit and stuff to like make it just really built in, and like this person came in and was like, I'm building this exactly how I want it, because because I live in a penthouse, so I have the money to do that. But yeah, that was kind of the idea, is that I wanted each floor to be like obviously and progressively more fancy, so that you can easily tell that like, oh yeah, this is the kind of cheaper ones. I don't know if they'll actually work out to be cheaper. I kind of assume so, but it's not like I can check each individual room or like each individual flat, at least not before the pack comes out. I suppose what I could do is like calculate the value of each room by like trying to save that to gallery and seeing how much it is, and then adding it up to the next room. But that still gets a bit confusing because obviously it's counting the same walls twice, and it's like, it's just not the perfect way of doing that. So I'll probably end up having to like wait until the pack comes out to see if it is actually like a cheap flat or not, because some of these are probably like a bit more expensive, which is fine because yeah, like I said, this is a flat that is meant to be more on the posh side, just because yeah, we've got all those amenities downstairs and stuff, so it is supposed to be like quite a bit more posh than like a starter. I think I am probably going to build some starter flats. Like I really want to make some just teeny tiny ones, like maybe putting full-on studios and stuff, because like I said, this could have been a studio, but I think with the amount of space, it made sense to make it its own room and actually like yeah, take advantage of it, because yeah, it could be a studio, but I thought it would be a bit nicer, like, oh yeah, if you have all these nice amenities and these nice things and stuff, then you probably would want your own bedroom. Like, though that being said, there's some luxury apartments near me that definitely have studios, and they have like loads of amenities and stuff, and they definitely have studios, and those studios are worth more than what I pay right now for a 1-bedroom flat. So yeah, high rises are expensive in London, but I'm sure that news shocks absolutely nobody. But yeah, I had a lot of fun building these, and it really made me excited for the pack, just for the idea of actually being able to play these, because I've built apartments before. I think everyone has at least once, or at least something similar, but it's just knowing that you have to like pretend basically, and just like, oh yeah, I'm putting all this work and furnishing this place for like nothing essentially, because it's either not going to function properly because of the lag, or I'm gonna have to delete everything and it's gonna be like weird seeing all this empty stuff. It's even worse if you like try and play it as an actual like apartment or something, because I remember I've done it before where I made 2 townhouses for my Sims, and they basically, yeah, they were supposed to be like living in these 2 houses but like next to each other, but they just kept going into the other person's house. Or like if I locked the door for them, for example, if I was to travel then and come back, then the other sim would be in the house that I locked them out of, but they still can't get out because it's locked. And it's just so frustrating when it's like, I don't want you here, especially if I have like a storyline in mind and stuff, and I'm trying to like do things and it's just not working out. So it's very, very frustrating that yeah, it's not something that you could do. So I'm so excited to be able to finally be able to do something like this, because I never even did it in like The Sims 3 or The Sims 2, because when I was playing The Sims 2, I was 9, I think. So I was like, you know, building absolutely giant flat rooms with like the biggest kitchen imaginable, all the most fancy appliances, and like you know what I'm talking about. You know that house that you build the first time you start building. So yeah, Sims 2 definitely not. Sims 3 I really wasn't building by then either. I was mostly just like, I was furnishing. So like I would take a house that they'd already built and just like, yeah, refurnish it to the way I liked it, but I'm not actually building the whole shell, I'm not doing the roofing or anything like that. It's really only since The Sims 4 that I've actually been like getting into building and decorating and doing the whole thing from scratch. So that's why I'm not like the best. So you do have to bear with me a little bit, but I think it's alright. I think I'm really proud of how this turned out. It's maybe not the best use of the floor plan, but I think I made it work. I think each room at least makes sense, even if it's not perfect. Each room makes sense. You can see now that I'm working on the 2nd floor apartment, so yeah, these ones will be a lot darker. They'll be a lot more, yeah, industrial, and like I said, I was kind of building them a bit less, like a bit more with like a professional in mind rather than a family. And the 5th flat is built with a family in mind, but like all of the rooms that I did for the kids I tried to make them fit within the theme of the house, and I think I did a good job. Maybe I didn't. You guys can tell me if you don't think I got it right, but I tried to make it so that each kid's room made sense within the flat, so it didn't look like just this giant like differentness, because so much of the kids stuff is so vibrant and like just so over the top that it's hard to fit it in with like a more classic or a more modern build. So I really tried to make it so that each of the kids' bedroom didn't detract too much. So like if you were looking at it from the top, then you wouldn't be like, this room just doesn't belong, it doesn't make sense. I do think all of them make sense within the context of the flat, at least in my opinion. You guys are gonna have to let me know. But you may be noticing here that we are coming towards the end of the speed build, and yet there's still somehow, we haven't even touched the penthouse yet. That's because it took me so long that the penthouse floor is gonna have to be its own video, because otherwise we were looking at like a 40-minute video, and I can talk, but I can't talk that much, and I'm very sorry that I won't be able to talk through that whole thing. So what we're gonna do is, in the next video, that's when I'll show you everything, because when I was trying to do it in one big video, I had to like absolutely speed through the like reveal part because the video was already going so long. But if I split it up like this, then we can spend a little bit more time next time actually going through the stuff. So yeah, if you're looking to see what the penthouse looks like or get a more in-depth look of everything that I ended up building, make sure you tune into our next video. It's already filmed and edited and all that, it just needs to be uploaded, so look out for that in the next few days. Speaking of upcoming things, I'd really like to know what you'd like to see in the future. Like, I want to do more apartments obviously, but like, is there a specific style you'd like to see, a specific budget, specific like theming? Like, just I want to do more, but I want to know that like people actually want to see it and stuff. So I was thinking about like maybe doing townhouses, or maybe doing like something quite small and compact, because obviously this is like absolutely massive. I don't know what the final dollar amount was or simoleon amount was for this apartment, but it was pretty high. Last I checked, it was like 40,000, no, 400,000 and something. It would be in the title of this video though, to be honest, so you actually know how much it is, but I don't know how much it is right at this second. So I know it's an absolutely ridiculous amount, but that's what I was going for here. So maybe in the next one I go for like quite a like small, compact, maybe only like 1 or 2 flats, maybe even like a house that can be converted into like a shared apartment kind of thing, because that's really common in the UK. I mean, I used to live in a shared flat or like a shared house when I was in university, so like I had my own room and then there was 3 others, but we all shared a kitchen and a bathroom. It was awful, wouldn't recommend it, but you know, you do what you have to when you're a poor college student or a poor university student. Don't know why I said college, I'm English. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!